All right, guys, one of the most important things when we're talking about strongman and the journey to becoming the world's strongest man or the strongest version of yourself is how do you avoid injuries? Now, that is essentially the name of the game at a high level. We all work hard, we all put in the effort, we all do everything we can, but it's those who can stay healthy and push forward for the long run that are going to be successful. Now, I'm not just world's strongest man, as most of you know. I also have my master's degree in clinical exercise physiology and my undergraduate degree in human kinetics, a large chunk of both of those programs dedicated towards injury recovery, injury management, injury avoidance, biomechanics, everything that goes into how exactly do injuries work. Now, I'll preface all of this by saying that injuries don't usually come from the place that you think they do. Oftentimes someone will get injured, they'll send me a video of them deadlifting. Oh, what do you think of this deadlift? I got hurt, what did I do wrong? And sometimes the simple answer is, you probably did nothing wrong. Without seeing how someone does something leading up to an injury, you can't really assess on one lift and say, oh, your back rounded a bit or your knee caved a bit, and say that that is the issue, because frankly, if your knee always caves, you're going to adapt to that movement over time, within reason, of course. So, brings me to, well, what actually is the number one cause of injury? And the number one cause of injury is if you increase load, intensity, volume inappropriately, and really increase or decrease. This can be session to session, this could be week over week, this could be month to month, or this could be over the year. Now, of course, you also need to allow yourself to recover, and we've got two competing lines. We have our tissue tolerance, and we have what you're demanding of the tissue, and the two ways you can get hurt, one of which are your demand of the tissue exceeds, and it's increasing too fast, and tissue tolerance is exceeded, or over time, you're not recovering enough, and your tissue tolerance actually creeps down. You keep your demand of load, intensity, volume the same, and then you get hurt because your tissue tolerance has come down. So reasonable increases in load, intensity, and volume across a block. Your programming has to be appropriate. Your programming from one block to the next has to be appropriate, i.e. you can't go from heavy, intense 1-rep max training to 15, 20 rep training for muscular endurance without some sort of transition phase, because you're just demanding too much, in that case, too much volume for you to be able to recover from. Now, this just doesn't exist in the context of your system. It also exists in the context of every individual tissue in your body. And this is where we get to technique. Just pulling away from the video for a second, I know there's so much to digest in terms of exercise tips, advice, how to do what you're doing. And I just want to direct you to a resource. Of course, I back myself. Over on my website, I've got PDF programs that are less than $5 a week for you to buy, get education, and get the program. I also have group coaching where you'll hop on calls with me and with the team. If you want to check what group coaching is coming up, again, go to my website. Links in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll kick to the rest of the video. This is where we get to every individual tissue in the body. Now, with technique, let's say you always squat with your knees out, or I can demonstrate, you always bench with your elbows tucked, and this is your normal pattern. And then when it gets heavy one time, you now flare your elbow, and we're getting into increased extension of the humerus, and we're increasing the stretch on the pec. That's when we can have a pec go, because now all of a sudden this individual tissue has experienced a dramatic increase in load and intensity. Now we're pulling on that, and that's when we can run into some serious issues. So this is why I always say you have to earn the right to do a heavy lift or do a 1-rep max. And if you've earned the right, you're able to fail safely. If you do a 1-rep max, you should have done a 90% 1-rep max, a 95% 1-rep max in the weeks leading up to finding out what your new maximum is. There's no one on the planet who can safely do sets of 10 and then just go test their 1-rep max. And this is why I am not a big proponent of percent 1RM training, because at a given time, you don't know what your 1RM is. And at a given time, you're not prepared just to go test it and give it a crack. So, to recap, the way to stay healthy long-term when you're strength training, number one, make sure your load, intensity, and volume are tracked week over week, and we're not increasing or decreasing that more than 5% from one week to the next. Number two, make sure that we apply that same principle to the tissues at every joint in our body. Your technique cannot change dramatically week over week or rep over rep. And number three, if you stay consistent, you train for the long run, and you allow yourself to recover, your body will adapt to what you're doing. You'll be stronger for it, you'll be healthier for it, and you'll be able to move forward injury-free, which is what we're all looking for. I'm going to put a disclaimer around all of this and say that there's a dramatic difference between training for performance and training for health. I train for performance with the understanding that it's really quite possible one day my bicep ruptures, my pec ruptures, there could be issues there. And if you're looking to train for health, I always say, train like a strongman and take 10% off of the intensity, and you're in a really good spot. Understand, performance and health, not the same. At the moment, I am as strong, probably stronger than I've ever been in my life. And really, I feel terrible. My brain is cooked, my joints are sore. It takes me 5 minutes to get walking in the morning, but you put me in the gym with a barbell or a log, and I am absolutely on fire, unstoppable. You can hear my immune system is also going. That's just what happens when you're pushing yourself to the limit. So, hope that gives you guys some context on what you can do, what you can do better, how you can move forward long term. Thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you next time. Lift heavy, be kind. As always, merch link in the bio. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you next time.